So, Mr. Tom Jones, when did you get up today? I would like to know.
What time?
Yes.
About 10 o'clock, I think it was.
Oh, that's quite early.
Yeah. But I got to bed early last night. I was tired. I was tired last night, so we had well, it wasn't an early dinner, but by the time it was all finished, it was about 11 o'clock, so I went to bed about 12 midnight, which is early for me, but it was a long day. When I'm doing promotion, I'm on a different schedule. I get up earlier in the day and I go to sleep earlier at night. As when I do live shows, when I'm on the road, I like to sleep, if I can, from 4 in the morning till noon. That's my best time if I have nothing, to do, all live shows at night. But when I do promotion, different schedule.
That's what I heard, 4 to noon, and it sounds
That's right, 4
really
to
good.
noon, yeah.
So you are a night hawk?
Yeah. Yes, I think I'm nocturnal, I always feel better at night. So show business is perfect for me to do live shows. There's no, I don't mind going to a restaurant late after I do a show, as with some people, they're tired at that time of night. But I'm not, because I didn't get up until, later. So that's fine with me.
And you sleep in moist air, is that true?
Yeah, I carry humidifiers with me because you need moisture. First of all, you need to drink plenty of water, for singers, and you need moisture air. And I learned that in Berlin in the 60s, in the mid 60s, when I went to Berlin in the winter time. I was doing a European tour, and I lost my voice. So I saw an ear, nose and throat specialist, and he said, you coming from Britain, he said, it's always moist there. Because, living in Great Britain, you don't even think about humidity, because it's always pretty humid. But he said in Berlin, in the winter time, it drops down to like 8% humidity, gets very dry. So he said, that's what's happened to your voice. It's just dry air that's done it to you. So he was the one then that got some humidifiers, and I put them in the bedroom, and like within 2 days, my voice came back. He said, stay in this room, and breathe in this humidity. So that's what I do. So I carry the same kind, not exactly the same humidifier, but the same ones. They're Swiss humidifiers. So they're the ones that I use. And I have been using the same ones since the 60s.
All over the years. And that keeps your voice like it
Oh,
is.
yeah, definitely. You have to have humidity. And the same thing when I went to Las Vegas, same, dry air again. But I'd already learned my lesson in Berlin, so I was prepared, when I got to Las Vegas with the humidifiers.
Are there other lessons you learned? Other special treatments?
Only that you need sleep. The vocal cords need complete rest. So if you can get 8 hours sleep, that's very important. And not too much alcohol. If you're doing shows, if you're doing a lot of singing, then be careful, because you don't want to get dehydrated. So that's a very important thing. And there's a little lozenge that I use, which is, let's see if I got them somewhere.
Pill, or what is that?
It's called Vocal Zone, and it was invented by a Welsh ear, nose and throat specialist in 18 something, and he had them made up for Caruso. Because Caruso was one of this man's patients in London, when Caruso used to come to London. So this doctor made these pills. They have licorice in them and menthol, and it's called Vocal Zone. So I always, when I'm on stage, I have one there and one in there, and it keeps me moist. And breathing, it's good for the breathing as well.
So you follow Caruso?
Caruso. I used to look at, when I used to first buy the packet of Vocal Zone, it said, made for one man, Caruso. So I thought, well, if it was good enough for him, it's good enough for me.
That's good. What is the best time or the best part of the day for you?
Well, the most enjoyment I get is when I'm on stage, when I do a show, live show. The people, when you walk out on stage, if you have anything wrong with you, if your foot hurts a little bit, or you may have a neck ache or anything, once you get on that stage, you forget about everything. The foot doesn't hurt anymore if it was hurting before, or the neck or anything. It's like you step into another world, And the people, you know, the applause, the feedback that I get from a live audience there's nothing quite like that.
So the stage and the audience is like medicine.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. It lifts you up, you know. It's a tremendous feeling. So that's the best part of the day.
So how was it with the new album that was in the studio and not on the stage? How
Well,
did you feel without audience there?
Well, making records, you know that you have to have records in order to have new things to present to the audience. So the making of the record, you have to think more, you know, you have to concentrate, you have to try things in the studio in order to get that record out there. But the best part of those songs is when I do them live. So that's when you get the feedback, and that's when you find out whether people like them or love them or maybe not too crazy about them. So that's the big test is on stage.
And it's just a test, or it's also the reason why you do it?
Well, that's the reason why I record. The reason why I make records is because it's an opportunity for me to go to the public. You know, without those records, they wouldn't have known who I am, who I was when I started. So you need recordings, but that's another part of the whole thing is learning new songs and going in the studio, you know, and trying things out. That's another part of singing. But the real thrill, you know, is when you've got the album made and you go on and present it to the people.
And with Tom Jones, it's about thrill and kick.
Yeah, that's it. You know, it's an uplifting thing that when time catches up with me, and I hope that's still quite a way away. You know, I know if my voice is not working, I mean, my voice is still very powerful. So I dread the time when it doesn't. You know, one day I'm sure it'll happen when I get older, that it's not going to work, and I'm going to dread that time because it will stop me doing what I really love to do, and that's to sing.
And you sing just for the audience, and maybe because of the audience, or just also by yourself?
Oh yeah, I sing, well, first for myself. I like singing. You know, I mean, I sing in the shower, or I'm either singing or whistling. There's always music going through my head. But sometimes if I'm in a club, in a small club sometimes, on a night off, and there's a band playing that I like, you know, and sometimes they'll say, do you want to, I have to jump up. I have to be held back to be stopped from getting up there. So that's it.
I saw your performance with Robbie Williams. That remarks me on that. It's wonderful.
Yeah, thank
you. So you like to be joining someone on stage?
Yeah, oh yeah. Sometimes I've done that, you know, when somebody's asked me would I get up and do a duet with them. And that could be it happened on Father's Day. I was in Los Angeles, and I take my sister out every Sunday. She lives in Los Angeles as well. And we went to Herb Alpert's restaurant. He has a restaurant in LA. And a band was playing there, because he has musicians go there, you know. So there was a girl singing, and she asked me could I get up and do a duet, which I did. And the only problem is now it's on the internet, I think, because I didn't realize there was anybody. But now, you know, with the phones and they can.
You can't hide.
No, you can't hide. But I only did it because I liked the way the band played. I liked the way the girl sang, and she asked me would I get up, and there I was.
When you get up, I wanted to know, when did you get down on your bended knees last time?
Well, on bended knees, that's when I pray every night. I pray before I go to sleep, and I get down on my knees by the side of the bed, and I pray, thanking God for what He's given me, and you know, to keep my family well, safe, and peace for the world. You know, to hopefully that people will stop killing one another. You know, and enjoy life. You know, and the conflicts in the world that bothers me, because you know, we've been having wars for bloody thousands of years. You would think by now we would have gotten it to where, you know, people would be more content, you know, with one another. Governments would not, you know what I mean? They'd try. I mean, I can't explain it, or I would be a politician, or I would have gotten into politics. But it bothers me when I read the newspaper or put television on and see that people are dying you know, that wars are still going on. So it's a shame. So I pray that someday will stop.
And you really got down every night on your knees?
Every night on my knees. Oh yeah.
Not symbolically, but symbolically, really in.
On my knees, yeah, yeah. I feel that if you're going to pray, that's the way to pray.
So the song is very personal on your new CD with the.
Oh yeah, get down on my bended knee. Yeah.
That's why you did the song.
Yeah, yeah, because I do. I get on my knee. But you know, when I do a song like that, I put myself in that person's, whoever the person is in the song, I act that part out. You know, I get into that role of that character. Just even if it's just for one song, but I'm living it as I'm singing it.
Great.
But it's good when you know about getting, you know, down on your knees.
So when did you get, or when did you went to church last time?
To church, the last time was at my cousin's funeral in Wales. My cousin passed away, and I went to his funeral, so I went into church then. But you know, to me, God is everywhere. I don't think you have to go into a church in order to pray. I think churches are lovely places for people to congregate and to be together, you know, and to worship together. Some people like to do that. But with me, you know, I can pray in a hotel room, you know, in the bedroom. I don't have to go into the church.
That doesn't sound like I thought. It's a new Tom Jones who thinks about angels and hell and heaven. It's not new. That's Tom Jones forever?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the way I was brought up when I was young in Wales, where I come from. I used to go to a Presbyterian chapel on a Sunday afternoon at 2:30 in the afternoon, and we would sing hymns, you know, and gospel songs, you know. So I know about gospel music from going to chapel as a child. So I've always been God-fearing. You know, I've always thought like that. You know, that you can't get too sure of yourself. You know, what you have, God gave it to you. So use it to the best of your ability, and that's why I thank Him every night when I'm on my knees.
So you have a strong relationship to God or to religion?
Well, to God, I believe that there is something. I mean, I wouldn't say that I know what God is. You know, I mean, God is different to everybody. But to me, it's God is goodness. It's a thing that. But I think that things happen, you know, because it's that God wishes it to happen. Well, I shouldn't say that, because there are a lot of bad things in the world that I don't think God can decide, you know, can make any different. But if more people prayed, I think it would. And because there's got to be something more powerful than we are, you know, looking at us. Now, what that is, I don't know. You know, to people with different religions, it's different, but it's still, it's basically the same though. You know, all religions have a God. You know, there is something that they pray to. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's good to be God-fearing, because it would stop you. I think that stops you from doing wrong. You know, anything really wrong, because you have to answer to God at the end.
There's a songline on your new CD, "My Lord did trouble me." Did you get troubled?
Yeah, well, when that means God will check on you. You know, he'll give you a slap. You know, if you do something, that's what it means, trouble me. You know, when I let things stand that should not be. You know, when I let things happen when I knew that I could have changed it if I wanted to, God will trouble me. He will let me know what has happened, and that's happened. I've experienced that. When people have said to me, "Oh, Tommy, you know, your voice is so strong, and you know, you're still as strong as you," and I go, yeah, you know, like it's me doing it. But then sometimes laryngitis or something will happen and I'd say, "Sorry, God, I got too carried away with myself, that you know, I forgot for a minute that my voice is only given to me. It's only as good as God wants it to be. It's not me. I didn't make my voice. I didn't invent my voice. It was given to me." So
Sounds really good. Praise and blame, what does it mean, the title of the CD?
Well, I think if to have praise, when people praise you for anything, and then they might disagree with you on something, you know, or but the press, you know, when I've had when they praised me when I first started off, for instance, you know, people say, "Wow, you know, this man has this voice from Wales, great." But then after a while, you get a lot of praise and praise and praise, and then things start to change. That, you know, they look for something that.
And they found something.
Well, they will, or they'll make it up, you know. But in order, when you pick up a newspaper and it's not exactly what you would like to read, you've got to take that as well. You have to take the blame, because when you're in show business, you can't have it all your own way. You can't. People are not going to write all the stuff that you want, you know, all the time. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes they're, you know, like critics, you know, when people reviews on shows and stuff, you think, oh, I don't like that, but you've got to take it, you know, as well as the praise.
And blame on this manager who wrote something which was emailed and then sent and printed in the newspaper?
I don't
recently, the thing?
I know. Well, I read it on the plane when I was coming from Los Angeles to London. I saw it on in a newspaper, and the first thing, I don't know who this man is, because I didn't deal with him when I was making the record, you know. So he is a financial person, you know. He does the financial side of it in the record company. So I don't know why he would say that, because he can't do much about it anyway, because the creative people at Island Records loved this record. You know, and they knew exactly what I was doing when I was doing it. So I didn't try to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. So what this man is saying, I can't get to the bottom of it. You know, I've said, what is this all about? And they said, oh, you know, it was a mistake, or something went wrong, and but we'll, you know. So the one thing, I think the positive thing that's come from it, the Island Records say, we'll make good on this. We'll make sure, because I said, this is bad publicity. This is not good publicity. You know, people are going to read this like I did and say, well, God, you know, maybe this Tom's album is not that good, because even the record company don't like it. You know, I don't think that's...
Maybe it's just a surprise that they didn't expect that you make gospel.
Well,
and maybe the audience as well is surprised. And says, oh.
Well, no, but not the record company, because they wanted me to make an album of hymns for last Christmas. And I said, well, if I'm going to do this, you know, I thought this is an opportunity to do some gospel songs. You know, a spiritual album, but not just like, you know, nice hymns, which is nice. I mean, I've got nothing against that kind of music, you know, if people want to make a nice album of hymns. But they asked me to do that, and I said, no, I want to do a gospel album, which is more, you know, it's got more life to it than if I had made a sort of an album like they suggested to begin with. So it's the opposite to what this man is saying. You know, he said he thought they were going to get a pop album from me. That's not true. We knew from day one that this was going to be a spiritual album. So I don't know how that came about, but it's...
Whatever.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the elegance of the 60s. What changed from then to now? Because I saw in the archive when I prepared the interview wonderful stuff from the 60s that, oh my God, this TV show has been so elegant and there was such a lot of really style. Is there something changed, good or bad? You can have a big view back from over 50 years career.
Yeah. Well, I think in the 60s, they had variety shows, which they don't have in America anymore, and they don't have in Britain anymore. Maybe some countries still do, but not America or Britain. So that kind of show is non-existent now. You know, when you have different singers coming on, and you have a comedian, and, you know, different things, variety show. But a lot of music, you know, on my show there was a lot of music, and I did duets with a lot of people that I liked. But now it doesn't seem to, I don't see that on television anymore. You know, it's, but TV...
Is the elegance lost?
I don't know.
I think it's an elegance.
Well, yeah, it's a professional, you know, it's a professionalism that's there. But you get, like now, if there's a new group or a new singer, that wants to get on television, you know, and's got a record, that's all they have are talk shows, you know, which is the David Letterman show and, you know, Jay Leno, you know, those shows, and you only have one song at the end of that show. So there are no music shows as such. You know, I mean, Jules Holland has got one in England, and that comes on, you know, late at night. But thank God he's got it. But in America, they don't. You don't see that.
For sure, what changed is the color of your hair.
Yes.
How you feel with that?
Well, I was dyeing my hair for a long time because when I didn't dye it, it was like a dark grey, or it would be grey in one part and not in another, you know, and like salt and pepper, you know. So I would dye it. But then because I used to stop dyeing my hair around Christmas into the New Year, because I take about a month to 5 weeks off then. And the last time I didn't dye it, it came out white. So I thought, well, that doesn't look bad, you know. White hair, why not? So I stopped dyeing it.
And now you go white to Las Vegas, first time.
White, yeah. You know, so people like it. You know, I haven't had any. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, we love your hair like that. It looks more natural," which it is. It is more natural because I'm not dyeing it now. So, but I'm fine with it. I like it like this.
And there's no fear for Las Vegas because you go there next week or whenever.
Yeah, but I've been there with white hair.
Okay.
I was there in last January.
It was no problem.
No problem.
It was fine. Let's talk about Elvis Presley, because I read that you and Elvis Presley, there's a relationship. He also was inspired by you.
Yes.
How was that?
Well, with Elvis Presley, I met him in 1965 when I first went to America. And there I was, I'm going to tell him how much, you know, he influenced me as a singer. And I saw him in Hollywood, and when he was walking towards me, he was singing one of my songs. So he asked me, "How do you sing like that?" You know, Elvis Presley asking me. And I said, well, you were partly to blame, I said to him, you know, you being influenced by you. And so he was knocked out with that, and he liked the way I sing. So we became friends, because he felt we had a kinship. Because when the Beatles came out and the Rolling Stones, Elvis thought that the single performer may be in trouble. You know, that the British rock bands would take over completely, and there would be no... So when I came on the scene, he felt that... he told me that I gave him confidence to make a comeback, and he saw me in '68 in Las Vegas, and then he made a comeback in '69, you know, so I was very pleased about that I had something to do with it. And then we became very close, you know, playing Vegas at the same time, and, you know, he was a great guy.
You met them all. Who was the most impressive?
Well, the biggest one, you know, was Elvis Presley and Frank Sinatra, and they had great character. You know, Elvis was Elvis. You know, I mean, he lived Elvis Presley. He didn't, you know, if you saw him in the film, that's how he was. You know, he was Elvis. He always had the clothes on, and he said to me once, he said, I can't go to, how do you find it when you go to restaurants? I said, it's okay, you know, you've got to have somebody with you, but I can't seem to do it. I said, no, because of the outfits that you wear. I said, if you want to go, you know, if you want to go out and not be recognized, you can't go out like that. But I think he liked being Elvis Presley. But that was great. His character was like that. Now, Frank Sinatra was a different person. Frank Sinatra liked bars. You know, he liked nightclubs. He liked going out. He liked being there. I mean, he had bodyguards with him, of course, but he liked those places. Elvis wasn't that crazy about going to clubs. He liked being in his suite in Las Vegas, you know, and creating his own thing, you know, with his friends and like that. So they were different, but they were both very powerful characters.
How you behave in Las Vegas? Do you also have a suite and don't go out then, or?
No, I have a suite and I go out. So I do both.
You do the Presley with the Sinatra. Mixed.
Exactly, mixed together.
So the Tom Jones we know is the real Tom Jones?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the difference may be that people maybe wouldn't know that I'm God-fearing. You know, that I grew up listening to gospel songs, and maybe this album will sort of. It's not that I mean it to, though. I didn't make this album to have people think of me in a different way. I'm still the same Tom Jones, you know. But I like to sing all kinds of songs, and this is one part of me that I've never recorded before. This is, as far as records are concerned, is new.
And what does mean I'm still the same Tom Jones? Who is the same? What's
Still the same. I'm still vibrant. You know, I love singing as much as I ever did. I love to travel to different countries. You know, I love to go to European countries or countries all over the world to sing to different people. You know, because I think that's the TV is fine. You know, people see you on television and they listen to your records. But when you go somewhere and do something live, I feel, you know, the people then. So, and I still feel like that. I haven't changed. So I'm still, for me, I'm still the same.
I even feel it right now.
Well, there you go.
What gets you motivated still? Exactly that?
Yeah, music, you know, and knowing that I'm gonna be on stage sooner or later. You know, so when I make records or when I do TV or anything that I do leads to the stage. It leads to that, the live performances.
For the medicine.
Yeah, for the medicine, for the shot.
So what you're looking forward, maybe to get retired? It doesn't sound like that.
No, I would hate to retire. I hope I never retire. I hope I'll be singing until I die, as long as my voice is strong enough. And if it doesn't in time, you know, if it's not as strong, I'll have to stop. But I'm not looking forward to that at all. Because,
you fear that?
I don't fear it, but there's nothing that I like as much, you see. I don't have a hobby. You know, some people say, oh, well, if I don't have to go on stage, I can play golf all day. I don't play golf. You know, I get in the gym, but how long can you get in, you know, stay in the gym? It's not something that I look forward to. You know, the thing I look forward to is singing. So when the time comes that I can't, I would be very sad.
And what do you think, what comes after dying?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't really know. I think that your soul will live in some way. But I don't know about going to heaven, you know, and seeing all your old friends. And I mean, it would be a very crowded place, wouldn't it? If you
and
know,
a big stage.
Exactly. But so I don't think that there's like a heaven as we've seen it portrayed, and a hell. You know, that's why in that song I said maybe there ain't no heaven or burning hell. You know, maybe there isn't. It's. But I think your soul lives on. I think it where it goes I don't know. But I think it lives if you've done the best you can in your life. I don't think it just, you know.
So last question, because this reminds me on your childhood you had TB, and maybe this was the motivation out of a crisis to get that creative you got.
Well, when it was TB was a blessing in disguise, but if I hadn't had it, I might have become a coal miner like my father, you know. But I couldn't because of my lungs, so that stopped me going into the coal mine. And I think it gave me strength, you know. I learned to appreciate things, not to take things for granted. Because I said, look out the window and see the kids playing, you know, in the street, and I couldn't go out there. And I thought, when I'm able to, because they didn't tell me how long it would take. You know, they said, we'll let you know when you can. I thought, how long is this going to take? So I thought, well, once I get over this, then I'm not going to complain about anything. Because I've had this. You know, I mean, I've been locked up in a house and not being able to go out. So it taught me not to take things for granted. Because most kids that go out playing, you know, if nothing is wrong with them, they take it for granted. And rightfully so, you know, they're out there enjoying themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you stop doing it, and I mean, that's what it did to me. It made me feel, and I've sympathized when I see children now, you know, on television that have things wrong with them. You know, I can sympathize with them because I had a taste of it myself, so I know what it's like.
So you're confident and happy with your life?
I'm thrilled with my life. Ever since I had my first hit record, it's been a dream ever since, and I'm still living it.
A favorite one you have?
Favorite
of your songs, of your hits?
of my songs?
Is there a favorite?
No, I think, well, the most important one is still It's Not Unusual, which was my first hit record, because that changed my life. So that one is very important. But I don't have one song, because all of them sort of make up a repertoire. You know, it's made up my life, you know, different times of my life when I've recorded different things. So there's a lot. I don't have one particular one.
So it's also Delilah, which I like a lot.
Delilah was a big hit, you know. In Germany was a big hit. I remember when it came out, there's an Austrian singer that had it out at the same time, and he sang it in German. So I thought, oh my God, maybe this, you know, it'll stop me, because mine was in English, but no.
No way.
No.
Tom Jones is not to stop.
Well, hopefully not.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.